Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you find yourself today. Welcome back to our channel Acceptance with Michael and
Matt. You want me to say
thanks.
Matthew?
Who the hell are you?
I'm Matthew.
That's exactly okay.
Okay.
Now we're getting somewhere. All right,
Okay.
today's episode will be on attachment styles and also what is it? It's about the importance of it and knowing more about yourself. And the way we wanted to do this was add like this as an educational piece. That way for future videos, so we're gonna like I think what is it? Our next one will be on like what was it again? I'm like a squirrel
Like
brain.
love or self love, I think one of the two.
Self-love. And then the trying to like all the aspects of love or like
Yes.
in life.
Because like although like our other of our channels about like is called acceptance, we just kind of cover various topics. So anything sounds
Exactly.
interesting. So this week it's attachment styles.
Attachment, detachment. What was it? It's you showing me
Yes, I
attachment.
saw this somewhere. Detachment, detachment. Like normal people are supposed to be able to do this, and sometimes some people can't do this. And it's
What do you
like
mean normal? I resent that. Like,
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, no. Well, no. I know that's right. That's wrong because it comes it as I'm definitely far from normal.
not a bad thing.
Yes, but it's more
I'm
like having the
learning to
awareness.
accept that about you.
It's it's more about having the awareness, though,
Yeah.
of it.
So, all right. To start off, let's define attachment. So, according to the APA, American Psychological Association, attachment style is defined as the characteristic way in which people relate to others in the context of an intimate relationship, which is heavily influenced by self-worth and an interpersonal trust. Theoretically, the degree of attachment security in adults is related to how well they bonded to others as children. Hence, now again, that's accounting, what is it, nurture, not just nature, like mostly concerned with the
Well,
nurture part.
because I could also relates with with the relationship that you haven't had with your parents and things too.
Yes. Now, nature does play a factor in what are your needs or, um, what is it? Like just basic needs. Everybody has different levels of like some need more emotional, some need less, and like that's just you as an individual at the end of the day. So like, and I think it's important. Like the reason why we wanted to define the attachment styles is it's best to know what's it because relationships are everything at the end of the day, whether we like to admit it or not, and it's a driving force of our world society where how would you say we're social creatures at the end of the day. So learning how best to maximize your ability for relationships and future prospects and just overall health in general, like it all plays a key important role in for like we talk about actual love. So whether it's for yourself, for others, and all of its factors, because it all influences us at the end of the day.
Wait, I have to interact with people. Darn it.
All right, fellow introvert. Ugh. Let's see. All right, now to define. Okay, I wanted we're gonna put links in the description below because also a part of this, I don't want you to just to take our word at face value. There are like we're gonna put a link in the description. It's called the Attachment Project, and in it, like they go run through all the lists, how it shows itself, just defining all the aspects of it for each attachment style. Plus, what else does it have? Oh yeah, it also has the quiz in there too. So if you want to take it for your own personal self to find out which one are you or which traits do you exhibit more, and I think what was it? I was looking at the price for like workbooks and stuff. It's like $27 in there. A little more money than I or like uh, maybe I'll have to break the bank one of these days. I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but sometimes it is. Um, but now let's define. Let's see. There are four types. So there's the secure attachment style, the anxious, the avoidant, and the disorganized. So let's start off with secure because at the end of the day, that's our goal, I guess. So And there's much benefit to come from it. So the way I wanted to describe it, at least with the APA's definition, especially whenever it comes to adults. So, an adult attachment style that combines a positive internal working model of attachment of oneself, characterized by a view of oneself as worthy of love, and a positive. Where is it? My phone. Okay, and a positive internal working model of attachment of others, characterized by the view that others are generally accepting and responsive. Is it always true?
Oof.
Not. Yeah, I know, right?
It's like
It's like,
that's
ooh.
the area that I actually like think like I have to work on. I have to like force myself to be in that place, like to accept that definition, regard like I know this is the right answer, even though I feel like something else. Like,
No, totally. But again, that's the I. Oh,
but I don't
why
know
am
how
I
much of that is like
buzzing
that
out?
versus like my introversion too. Some of that might just be my introversion. Like I don't want to deal that energy, just random like also. I don't know. I think about that.
Mm. I mean, that can also play a part in it too. Again, this is just overall attachment, so
Yeah.
dealing with intimate and interpersonal relationships. So why the my camera fuzzing out? Ah,
Maybe just
focus,
jiggle it, jiggle it something.
jiggle it.
Put your finger up like this. I don't know. Now back up. It's weird. Like last time it made, like worked. He had to like stand up for like a second and then come back in.
I did. Okay. So here, let's keep talking.
You keep
So,
talking.
what are some of the characteristics? Because we can talk about attachment or secure attachment at the end of the day. What the hell does that even look like? At least personally.
I have theories
So,
about what it looks like, but you can go on.
yeah. So here are a few. Amen to that. But here are a few. So, positive view of oneself, positive view of others, healthy self-esteem, comfortable with intimacy, capable of setting boundaries in relationships, self-sufficient. However, they are comfortable asking for support when they need it. Can trust others. People enjoy being in their company. Comfortable with emotional closeness, capable of developing and maintaining strong relationships, emotionally balanced, and able to emotionally regulate people close to them, including themselves. So, isn't that the ideal? Like, think
That's an ideal for
it's an
sure.
ideal. It's an ideal.
The
Um, I feel like I don't ever think it could be 100% at the end of the day because again, it's still having to rewire all your past programming, but still, like, I wouldn't say it's impossible. Hold on. How did I say that? I wouldn't say it's possible to be 100%, but I wouldn't say it's impossible to not get as close to that as possible.
yeah,
Does
I
that make
think
sense?
that yeah, because like there's some in there. Because like I don't know like how much like 'cause I feel like there should always I don't know I guess I think there should be some skepticism still like with dealing with random people though at
Yes.
the end of the
No,
day.
and I'm not exactly like that's what I'm saying. Like, ooh, take it all with a grain of salt because you shouldn't put your trust in everybody. Now
Yeah,
that may come from a like it's not just a pessimistic or cynical outlook on
right.
life, but it's also safety. Not everybody out there has your best intention at heart. And so I guess a term like what's the term? Discernment would be in your best asset in
Right.
that.
Yeah.
But that's why I also said setting healthy boundaries, like not just letting anybody willy-nilly come into your life and do whatever willy-nilly with you.
I don't seem to have any problem with that part.
Don't self-disclose. All right.
Anyway.
Shut up. Oh God. Sorry. Um, all right, next one. Okay, the way we're going to define these next three is again with their definition, how they are like, what are some objective insights that you can see outwardly, and how they interact with people. What are their triggers or what causes those emotions to well up, and their self-talk, the negative critic in them. Start off with anxious. Woot woot. All right, let's see. Struggle to feel secure in their relationships. While they long to feel close to their partner, this need is often driven by fears of abandonment, mistrust, and low self esteem. Any thoughts?
The abandonment was probably though like the closest one I can relate to on that one.
Yes. And I feel like for most people that like dealt with emotional neglect, and whether that was intended or not, like may often relate to that, like that never that attention's never there, or it's because like whether somebody couldn't be emotionally with you, or um family members die, now you're in a foster care system,
Right.
like that weak poor attachment, not weak as in bad weak, but like that it's not strong enough there, especially as a child that can't comprehend what's going on and understands the needs of like, well, hey, the reason why mommy or daddy couldn't be emotionally available with me is because they were working to at least provide the basic needs and not always have the energy afterward. Logically, you can say, okay, I understand that, but children don't have that concept or that ability to conceptualize that. Why? Because we're all ego driven, at least as in the infant
Mm,
state.
yeah. It's like
Um, no, go ahead.
I was like thinking about like I was trying to reflect on it a little bit. It's like well, it's like I know that yeah, I think there's basic needs were met for sure, but a lot of like the emotional stuff was like is one that's like less
Mhm.
present
Yeah.
for me for on my end.
And I think at the end of the day, it does come down to like emotional or like what is or isn't there
Yeah,
emotionally.
yeah,
Um, Interactions, I guess, usually very attentive to the needs of the other person, rejects our own needs often, seeking constant validation and reassurance, and often seen as clingy. I would also say it's um, the ones that tend to be more codependent in a relationship, like constantly about the other person and avoiding yourself totally.
right, yeah.
And I've been reading on this, and I still need to finish more of my research with it, but it's also paired with shame,
Mm,
and well, we'll get onto that with the negative self-talk, but their triggers, obviously being the even the perceived notion, not even that it has to actually happen, but of being rejected, abandoned, um, also not knowing where they stand in a relationship, and even the smallest amount of disappointment that they cause for their other, like big emotional roller coaster of like ups and downs.
yeah.
Nah, I'm tired. Whew. Self-talk. I'm not worthy of love. I'm only lovable if I provide or take care of the other. So yeah, a lot of the codependency comes from this attachment style, at least that I've seen.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's like some like because like I think the only one again I think on that one was pretty much the abandonment part of it. The other stuff is like I don't resonate with as much, but I can feel maybe some of the emotions sometimes. But I think some of those emotions come up whenever just things are going bad in general for me, or like a stressful
Mhm.
time in general. But like not nearly. Like I have to like be in like a state of just in like a hard times where I'm like okay, like everything's just like not. Then I can bring that
Yeah.
out in me for sure. But yeah,
I feel like, oh, what's that? We all have anxious tendencies.
yeah, yep.
But
I know. Yeah,
uh,
what triggers them? You know, it's like could be normal things.
exactly.
It could be normal things. Like the biggest, well, the big thing we'll probably have to talk about a lot of stuff and self love and type stuff though.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
that's why I like that. Again, let's to reaffirm what this episode was about is to
Mm,
start somewhere.
yes.
So this part is about you and your internal monologue for yourself and how you attach and accept with other
Mm-hmm.
people and yourself, mostly yourself. But yeah. Okay, avoidant. Also, mostly like the opposite of the anxious type. So it's usually they do not crave intimacy, and are wary of closeness. Try to avoid emotional connection with others. They'd rather not rely on others or have others rely on them. And it stems from, oh, how is it described? like your emotional needs weren't met as a child. So therefore, you learn not to trust or rely on others because they're not going to be there for you. So why would you? Like, how can you? It hasn't been proven. And even if it was proven, you still have to go back in time to where, like, what should have been developed in that
Mm-hmm.
early infant stage didn't get the chance to develop. Again, also the preference, none of these attachment styles are set in stone. You
Yeah.
can offset it for the better to try to get closer to that more secured attachment.
Okay. Maybe that's why like maybe I might relate with some of them and not like certain ones and not other like
No, and I feel like a lot
because
of people are gonna relate with some of them.
like even like in the avoidant the one you mentioned there the part I do avoid that I do relate in the avoidance section is the try not to put too much trust in other people.
Hmm.
Like
Well, and
and the self reliant part, which could mean like if I'm combining other things, could possibly also be if you combine the right things together, could be more secure. But it depends. I think maybe like what.
again, and that'll be
Yeah. So
your job to
mm,
discover those subtlety and
yeah,
nuances within yourself.
yeah,
Interactions, they're not, it's this is not just like for, oh, introverts are always avoidant. No, they can also tend to be very social, easygoing, seem to be highly independent and with high self-esteem. Again, they're not looking for external validation or emotional validation. Why? Because they do it for themselves, because nobody else is going to. Their triggers, emotional closeness and intimacy. Again, like they don't want to rely on others or have others rely on them, especially for that. The closeness, they try to keep it surface level. So that one distant partner, like, what are we? Ignores this question, or like, uh, we're friends, aren't we? Like, not even that. Like, very surface level.
yeah, yeah. Like the conversation stay pretty surface level,
Mhm.
and hmm, cause yeah, cause like that's hard for me like figure out like where that is, cause like I know when it's like I barely know people, that's kind of where it stays at a lot of the times
Mhm.
for me, cause like why do
Well,
I
that's
want
a
to just why do I
stranger.
just want to just yeah, but like when it comes to like
This is for people even that are
mm,
already kind of in a relationship because as
yeah,
what
okay,
is it?
yeah,
The term opposites attract. So
mm,
oftentimes what develops into a codependent relationship, you have an avoidant and an anxious. So they're further keep reaffirming their negative self-beliefs of
right,
I'm
yeah.
not worthy of love. I can't rely on this person for anything. And it's just a negative feedback loop over and over
Yeah,
and
and,
over again.
and
So
it's
one
kind
of
of
you
well,
are,
that's how
yeah,
toxic situations get pulled in and
yes,
set up. Yeah, yep.
exactly. And then again, did I go on to the negative self-talk? You cannot rely on or trust anyone to get your needs met, so it's all up to you. Like, no one's gonna be there, so
Yeah, I think that's
mm.
where it's like that's the difference between like I think the difference between that one and secure is secure you really don't actually need anybody's help, but you're willing to let accept it, I guess, in that sense.
Exactly.
And so I think that's where I think you're kind of right when
Right.
you're talking
It's
about
not
maybe a
over
little bit.
relying on it like the anxious, and it's
Okay,
not under relying like the
okay.
avoidant.
So I guess I don't know. Again, I guess I am. Yeah, like I guess like you said, I guess I'm probably a little more secure than I thought it was when I think about it like that. Because like I don't
Well,
do like I
well,
have these, but I'll do it for specific reasons, and it's not always like
mhm. Well, and at the
yeah,
end of the day, we're still gonna have remnants of whatever style or mode we operate in.
yeah.
That's not gonna leave us 100%. That's also like ingrained in your body. Like, what is it? We store trauma and emotional and past wounds within
Mm-hmm.
our body. That's not leaving you. You can heal and move on from it, but it's not gonna leave you.
That's an interesting topic. And that's a different,
Write
totally different topic. It's a different.
it
It's
down.
like very good. No, it's interesting because I didn't know you could actually do this, but
Do
yeah, it's
what?
just oh you can act you can it's just pretty much you go back and just start to put different emotions around those situations.
Well, and that's why
And
I
the reason, and
usually
if you, it's kind of what you do is you're changing your emotional past around it, so that way your future, you can you
They
better
call
heal
it
from it.
narrative, or what is
Yeah.
it? Like rewriting the narrative, usually in
Yes,
therapy.
I understand what
How
now. I
you
understand
frame it.
what now. I understand what this thing like revisioning is. It's what you're doing. You're changing.
Yes.
You're going back and you're changing the emotion around. Like you can come up with your own thoughts. What is in your head? The reality still exists. What happened, but you change the emotion around it, and like
Hmm. Oh yeah, you're not supposed to
and
avoid
then
it. Like what happened
yes,
happened.
it happened. But you can change. You can change what you change the meaning of it. You can change. You know, and it's like
Yes.
that's. I think that so that way if you go back and visit that again, now you have this different emotion, like, well, I learned something from this in a
Yes.
situation or whatever, you know. So yeah.
Very good observation.
Yes, change the
All right.
energy around it, and also just
Yeah.
helps you don't
Oh
it, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
no, no, it's good. Sorry, I'm like following you and my other trains of thought. It's like he's making good points. Keep it going, but where the hell am I? All right,
Yes.
like
No, it's just it's a no it's surprisingly that how some of these like things that have kind of like topics I've delved into, like they're not necessarily as like science things like it might be they scientific, but like the framing around them kind of they still work on the similar aspects of like going like healing and making taking control of your own narrative really.
mhm.
And that's the biggest thing is like being able to take control of like you. That's where the self love and death will come in other
Well,
episodes
and
with
that's
you.
why we also talk like what is it? The lotus of control. You're at the center of it. At the end of the day, you can only control yourself, your perceptions, your thoughts, your realities. That's all on
Yes.
you.
Yep, and then like
So,
and like you be able to hold your own frame and all that stuff. But anyway, again, those are a couple other topics. I don't want to jump too off of this one
oh
too much.
yeah,
I was
let's
gonna
get back
say,
to the topic.
but because I love all these topics because I have so much I could talk about on them, just like in
Write them
theoretical
down.
areas.
Write them
But
down.
no, we'll get there. But
Okay.
mm,
Disorganized. Combination of both the anxious and avoidant, so often characterized by inconsistent and hard to predict behavior. People with this style pursue a loving relationship, but then detach or lash out at a partner who gives them that love. It's also like in the infancy state, usually bonded with the caregiver, so the caregiver is your source of protection, but also the source of all your fears or like what causes the anxiousness to build up within you. So it's like, yes, they're safe, but not. But I have to rely on this person to get my needs met. Maybe not emotionally, but at least physically in the moment. Like I cannot like, and as a child, you can't survive on your own. So you have to kind of whether placate to this person so you can still get at least your physical basic needs met, and then just relying on yourself for the rest of the rest of the narrative. So,
yeah,
um, interactions, let's see, usually tend to or try to avoid getting too close to others and trusting them, but at the same time pursue relationships. It's not that they're afraid of intimacy, or it's not that they reject intimacy and closeness, but they're afraid of it. So it's like I want it, but I'm terrified of it, but I still want it. So, it's again a bunch of roller coasters, mixing the avoidant and the anxious,
anxiousness together. Yeah.
and it also
Mm-hmm.
creates codependent relationships as well. Um, so let's see there. Let's see.
When you mentioned situation requiring it, you're talking about like just like maybe it's the current living situations, like maybe kind of like what is that? What are you getting at in that? Like, do you have an example of that?
What do you mean?
Oh, just like you said, like maybe there's a certain circumstance that caused these type of attachments to form or something. Is that how I maybe I misinterpreted that?
It's all in childhood. It's how you
Yeah. Okay.
connect with your
Right.
caregiver.
Okay. Right. Okay. I see. Okay.
Um, yes. Oh, and okay, and now finally for the negative self-talk. The other person will not love and support me as I am. I'm waiting for the inevitable rejection, disappointment, and hurt to come. Like self-fulfilling prophecies of just I want it, but it's too good to be true. But I have an idea of it, and we could be something, but we can't because and a cabal of and I often find it difficult, at least back whenever I used to be more disorganized in my attachment style, at least personally, there'd be moments of like, one relationship would have me on the anxious aspect, and then another would have me on the avoidant aspect, and like, I don't know what I'm feeling because it's coming from both angles. And but again, it's a lot of self-talk and your narrative and how you from in self-love, which that'll be our next episode. So this was basically just to get a little education out there, and mind you, I want you to do your own research. Again, we're gonna put a link in the description as well. It's called the Attachment Project, and plenty of good resources and just simple things to look at. Take a quiz, take a test, find out for yourself. Again, because you're gonna be the one who knows you better.
Yep.
So
Yes. Okay. Nice. Nice. So I guess that was the.
yeah. Um. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope to see you later. Again, in the comment section, put down. Oh, what do you want?
What do we put down in there? Comment just feedback, feedback.
Yeah, just
Anything.
feedback.
It could be like, heck, even just technical feedback even would be nice sometimes. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, just any feedback. Um, and like if there's any more, if you also like if you like the subject, want to talk more about the subject, let us know that. Anything. So yeah.
Right, exactly. Because then we can focus on it again. Do more
Yes.
research. And what did you write? Like, share, subscribe.
Yep.
Greatly appreciate it. Trying to grow this community. Awesome.
Yep.
Lots
All
of
right.
love.
That's all. All right. Let's see. And